What's up, everybody? Jordan Stewart here from Vover. Thanks so much for tapping into the Vover Original Show. Just a reminder that if you want to drop your opinions about the episode or respond to the host and guests with your voice, go and download the Vover app wherever you get your apps. Vover, voice over everything. Enjoyed the show.
If you looked at the FIFA Power Rankings before the Euro and Copa America that we just enjoyed, you saw Belgium at the very top, then France, then Brazil, England, and Portugal rounding out the top five. So flash forward a quarter of a calendar year here, and going into this international break, the top five includes Belgium, still at the top, then Brazil, swapping spots with France after falling to Argentina, by the way, in the Copa America final. England staying at 4, while Italy is now 5 after winning the Euro. And just to round out the picture a bit, Argentina is now 6th, Spain 7th, and Portugal 8th. So simply put, these FIFA rankings are kind of like, those college football and basketball rankings where you've got strength of schedule weighed in with strength of confederation, in this case, at play, with the 12-month view of all of this, a large part of how this calculation is done. And it's really to get people talking, essentially, which we will do here on this Friday edition of Vover FC with this framework. And the sound of world football here on Vover brings us voice over everything during this international break for World Cup qualifiers, plus a little bit later a transfer window recap, especially as it relates to La Liga. But getting to some of the matches we're seeing this week after such a thrilling Euro where Italy beat England in that shootout, and quickly you get back to action now. And for Italy, following that up with a draw on Thursday against Bulgaria, a bit surprising, but it wasn't a full-on hangover as Federico Chiesa picked right back up where he left off in a 1-1 match. And England entering what was an unnecessarily hostile environment in Hungary after UEFA had sanctioned Hungarian support, which was hostile enough to warrant this attention. FIFA allowing for a situation where the hostile derogatory chants could continue as officials in Budapest and FIFA not exactly on the same page as UEFA. So England in this situation on the road, and they plow through it. A second half barrage of goals on Thursday for the Three Lions, and this is something that was impressive. For England, it was a show of force in the second half and proof that they can and will put the Euro final in the rearview mirror. Raheem Sterling starting the party, Harry Kane, Harry Maguire, Declan Rice, and some shaky goalkeeping for Hungary late in the match, all part of the story in this 4-0 thrashing. And good on Gareth Southgate for staying the course and changing much of nothing in the approach, as we see England fully ensconced here as a top 5 side in the world, in and out of the Euro, and now asserting control in their group. This weekend, we'll get to see France, and we saw Portugal still relying on the top international goal-scoring machine that is Cristiano Ronaldo tuning up for Man United duties. Spain looking suspect, falling to Sweden, while that team at the top, Belgium, getting an early and something of a late challenge from Estonia, yet still getting 5 goals in their win. Most of these groups getting their teams now to the halfway point of this qualification with 4 of the 8 matches in the books as we go from country to club and back to Spain. This is La Liga, powered by Green Park. Our look inside Spain's top flight as the international break is on the heels of the close of the transfer window, giving us this chance to break down what is ahead in La Liga. Next week, we'll have proper look-aheads to the action on the pitch as it resumes. But the elephant in the room is the new-look FC Barcelona, which we knew would get some kind of makeover as Ronald Koeman efforts some sort of way forward. But this is a full-on facelift as Messi's departure to PSG, the start of a process where balancing the budget at all costs was the name of the game. And Barca faithful are not used to this kind of sweeping change because, let's be honest, for decades, it's not just been tremendous success, but it's been nearly 2 decades of Lionel Messi. And while it won't quite look like Michael Jordan in a Wizards uniform for PSG, who will benefit for several seasons ahead, no doubt, at the highest level of success, for FC Barcelona, yeah, it's a painful adjustment to the new normal, but it was coming. So looking at it positively, holding one's nose and plowing through toward the new collective reality for all of us, maybe it's still not the worst course of action to be taking these austerity measures now. And at the top of the list, yes, they'll get broiled for this now regarding this next thought, but give it pause after it is said. Millions upon millions of euros, Luis Suarez and Atleti title, and Antoine Griezmann swapped for Antoine Griezmann. Now, the pause, it was not the fit that FC Barcelona thought that it would be with him coming over from Atleti the first time. I mean, the times he wasn't playing over the past couple of seasons and watching as a highly paid spectator was flummoxing. I mean, all of this was part of what was not working. So you'll see a bunch of grades out there from pundits rating the success of clubs in the transfer period. And don't exactly fall for that this is an F- or whatever you're seeing hung on Barca's current brass. You can't forget the election that was sentimental in many regards, bringing back a president who presided over happier days and had a good relationship with Lionel Messi and had, more reasonable approaches to spending, because in that, FC Barcelona had to face facts, and there was nothing leading any of us to believe that the final standings this season, with even Messi and Griezmann staying, would have looked much more different than it will probably end up looking. I mean, if you said this is a third-place team again this season, just like last season, Real Madrid and Atleti are on paper currently better. Real Madrid tried to be way better, and they have the manager to help keep things steady. Atleti has arguably been the most talented in the past 24 months that they've ever been under the man in black, and Barca would likely thus have been third again and still should be there now. But what if they get loose and you're the one for me, Fati, gets shaken and uncorked, and the exploits of others start to shine, and it comes together as a squad that's unbound, and it becomes a fun story for FC Barcelona. This could be really big, and Ansu Fati, I mean, this is the story I can't wait to see. They've given him the number 10 jersey, no pressure. Side note, though, it's not tradition, but while you may not retire it, just hold back a few months, perhaps. I'm still not buying the doom and gloom of getting fleeced by Simeone for Griezmann once and then twice. And while Barca won't get fooled again, most likely, even if it's Sevilla grabbing third this campaign, the only reasonable measure of disappointment would be falling out of the top four, and Europa, or worse, being the fate, Europa Conference League. That's not the greatest fate. But that fear, likely unfounded, simply should not be the driver here of staying in what was a disoriented state this season, next season, and moving forward. So, Emerson Royale, we hardly knew you. Antoine Griezmann, you were super expensive, and it resulted in a whole lot of not much, but you tried. FC Barcelona have been sellers in the past, so this chance now to recraft the course should be taken with joy. And with all that, there's another startling fact. Premier League spending during the transfer window was nuts, and maybe Man City overpaid for Jack Grealish. Probably Arsenal will not see the return on investments that they made. But here's the shocker. Newly promoted Brentford, Norwich, and Watford combining for more spending in the transfer window than Barca, Real Madrid, and Atleti. In a one-year sample size where PSG would not take the cash, don't read into this too much, but the adjustment period is real. So where does that leave fans of La Liga clubs, or just La Liga as a league that's more exciting to watch than most of the others? In a good place. Because we've said this before on this show, competition is good, and the NFL knows this and knows it well. Any given Sunday is now. Any given season, a new team can surprise on their way to gridiron glory, and La Liga has been a league of a 2 or 3 team race for decades, but now it's a bit like your favorite game, Boggle. Shake it up. Get some new words in your vocabulary. Enjoy the Yellow Submarine knocking down Man United in the Europa League final and then having to claw around in La Liga this season because nothing is given. And for leagues with no playoffs, these seasons are meaningful and each match is meaningful and the battles get to rage on in a wide open frontier. This is fun. This is why we watch. And next week, we'll set the stage for what we'll be watching moving forward in the weekends ahead. Thank you so much for spending some time here with us for This is La Liga, powered by Green Park. Have a great weekend ahead.